girl, Brandi Harvey. I'm so excited that you have decided to join us here at our monthly Vault Empowers Talks. Now, I know that you are here for such a time as this. So go ahead, like, comment, share, but hit the subscribe button because I need you in the Vault Village. We have so many wonderful interviews planned. And like every other month, we talk about our 5 pillars, and this month is no different. And we're talking about business development with the one and only Melody McCloskey. I'm so excited to have this conversation. If you are ready, go ahead, get your pen and paper. Let's get ready. Melody, I'm so excited to chat with you. You are the founder of StyleSeat, the premier destination to book beauty and barber appointments. Angel investor for Clio Capital, you're a wife, a mother, and creator of big ideas. Welcome to Vault Empowers.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am too. You have such good energy.
Oh, thank you.
You have such good energy. It has been really a real life lesson in class and watching all your old videos, right?
Oh my gosh.
You started doing this because you founded StyleSeat in 2011.
Yeah, basically a million years ago, in company years, right?
Before Instagram?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's wild. Actually, I
started
started StyleSeat sitting next to the 2 Instagram founders. We were in the same little
Wow.
co-working space.
Wow.
And they would be like, what do you think of this filter? And I'd be like, yeah, but you need to, it was really cute. They handmade each of them, and it was fun to see that. And then,
yeah,
it's wild.
So it's almost like prehistoric, right?
Totally, yes.
You're like a dinosaur out here.
I am.
In the age
am.
of technology.
I am, and my oldest daughter is obsessed with dinosaurs. So that's
here you are.
Here I am.
Well,
yeah.
you're like the big T-Rex because in 2011 you started StyleSeat. And since then, StyleSeat has powered over 155 million beauty appointments and generated over 10 billion in booking revenue.
12, yeah.
Oh, baby, check that. Facts. 12 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, how did a French international relations software engineer have the mindset to create this type of enterprise?
It was the type of thing where I was obsessed with ideas and businesses and business creation. A lot of my friends graduating school, because I didn't go to business school, I was a French major.
French major.
Yeah.
Kind
of politics major. But we would just talk about it in San Francisco. We'd go to drinks and we'd talk about making software and the different products we loved and what was good and not and why, and the business around it. And it was just something that I was obsessed with and so passionate about. But I never thought that I was smart enough to start a company, and I never thought that I was qualified, that anyone would give me money or any of that. And so I was like, all right, but these big ideas that we have, that's for someone else to create.
Yeah.
And I am going to sit and watch because that is all that I can do, right? I really, really limited myself in all ways when I was that age. And suddenly someone told me, they turned to me, I think it was Travis, turned to me and he was like, no one's ever going to give you permission. You've been talking about this idea for 2 years. Go out and do it. Shut up.
Yeah.
And it was the kick that I needed.
Yeah.
And so it was that moment. And then maybe 2 weeks later, I was reading something on my phone, a news article, and they were talking about the beauty industry, and I thought it was describing a company like StyleSeat that I wanted to start but hadn't yet. And my stomach dropped. I immediately I didn't even read the article. I just thought that that's what it said. I tossed my phone and I was like, I just went into this depression spiral. And then I go back to read the article and it's not what it says at all. But what I realized was I am more fearful that someone else will start this company than I am of starting it and failing it.
Yeah.
And so that moment allowed me to say, okay, well then the decision has been made. And all this energy that I'm putting into doubting myself, every time I come up with an idea that I wanted to pursue, I'd come up with another reason why I couldn't do it because I wasn't capable. And so I said, if the decision has been made, then I'm not talking about if I'm going to do it anymore. That's all gone. And now it's just about creation.
Yeah.
And every day I would wake up and put all that energy into creation. And that's how it started.
You removed the fear out of the way.
Yeah.
And you just did it scared.
Yeah.
And this is for somebody who was told, hey, all the other girls are doing PR. You should just do PR.
Yes, you did do research. I don't heard that. But that's true. My counselor at university, when
Yeah.
I turned to her and I said, I don't know what to do.
What to do.
I don't know how to discover what to
Yeah.
do. And it was in '06, and the economy was not good. And she turned to me and she goes, you know, women do PR, and I think that would be good for you. And I was like, have you ever met me? I run my mouth.
Yeah.
You know, I actually did get into PR as an intern.
Yeah.
And I would have conversations literally with my accounts, and I would say, well, why exactly is this your strategy? We thought about something like this, or help me understand. And my boss was like, no one wants to hear what their business strategy should be from the PR intern at the agency. And I was like, I don't think I should work here anymore. I don't know what I'm good at, but I'm not good at this.
You're not good at this.
No.
And so you said you have to pick a direction and go with it. Mm-hmm. And so this was the direction. You said, look, I don't have any other option. I will be devastated if somebody else starts this company. Yeah. And so with grit and determination, you're in San Francisco, living on $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
With the intention of saving money in San Francisco. Let's talk about that.
Oh my God. I moved to San Francisco. So I lived in France. I did study abroad for a year at university. And I was like, I want to live in France. This is like this fantasy in my head. What do I want to do? I don't know. Whatever. But I was like, I'll move to San Francisco and save money and then move to Paris. And no, that did not happen. Oh. I definitely paid. I mean, I went into debt every single year for the first couple years of my career, because that's just how it goes in that city. That was a dumb idea.
And you're living in this closet, right? What you said is a closet.
So I had 3 roommates, and I lived in like this big house. When I moved into it, there was a bed, like a king size bed in the living room. And I found these people on Craigslist. I'm still friends with actually many of them.
Let me tell you,
all of them.
You'd have found some roommates on Craigslist.
Yes.
People nowadays don't understand that Craigslist was a place that you could go find places to live and not just,
It's where everything was. It's
other
jam,
things.
Okay? I'm not a dinosaur. Craigslist was great. So anyways.
It was.
Yeah. And I ended up living in this room in the house that didn't have room for any furniture. It was like a bed and nothing else.
Yeah. That
was like crammed in there. And I think my rent was like $400 a month or something, because it wasn't like, no one's supposed to live in that room. And it probably wasn't legal.
Yeah.
But, I knew that if I was starting my company, because when I started my company, I had no money.
Yeah.
I think the only money I had was because I didn't take vacation at my previous job for a year and a half or whatever. So they had to pay me out when I left. I didn't know that was a thing. So I had like a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
Quit my job.
Yeah.
No money except for that. And just lived on credit cards entirely for 18 months while I was bootstrapping my business.
Yeah.
That's insane. No one should do that. Don't do that. I'm not recommending that you do that. I didn't have like a financial plan, but I just thought, I'm jumping out of the airplane and I will figure it out.
Yeah.
And if I have to be bankrupt in my 20s and go back and live with my parents on their couch, then fine, we'll do that for a while.
I love that you said this business is going to get me out of this situation, that was always the thing. This is going to get me out of this situation. Yeah. So I think for our audience, most people are not willing to do that part because it's such a big sacrifice, It's
not fun. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I would recommend it, because there was a period of like the better part of a decade where, like, for the first 18 months, I didn't take a single vacation. I mean, a single weekend. Yeah. And when I say I didn't take a weekend, I was sitting and working 7 days a week. Is that healthy? No. Is that smart? No. Is that the best use of anyone's time? Probably not. But I had to force myself to do it. And I made all of the hardest decisions looking back now. But I didn't know any other way. No one taught me. When I started my company, I didn't know a single female founder. Yeah. I know a million women in tech. I had a ton of girlfriends. And I knew of Marissa Mayer and of Sheryl Sandberg. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't think of a single woman. I mean, 2% of venture capital goes towards women. So now there's a lot more of them, but they were
Yeah.
very, very it was not a common thing. And so I was like, I'm just figuring this out on my own. And I think if you start a company now, you don't have to do that. There's lots of interviews you can read, there's, or watch.
YouTube University.
YouTube University is fantastic, and that didn't exist, right? So you can do it faster. You don't have to do it as hard as I did, but it was a real grind. And I just put everything on credit cards and closed my eyes and said, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And so in the we'll see, you got some great investors along the way.
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher and Sophia Bush were like those celebrity investors that you got. And I heard you in an interview say that most times that when women were the investors and they saw other women, it was kind of like they were going to gravitate towards your business.
Well, that's what I'd hoped. And I found that, and this dynamic still exists sometimes. If there was one female or woman investor on like a team at a venture capital firm, all the men, the dynamic in the room would be all the men would look at her about the woman pitching, the woman company, and then she would not want to feel like the female investor wants to invest in all the women companies. And so I found that the dynamic was often, those were the people least likely to invest in me. And I'd have to like try and find someone else in the room and read their energy and like get them on board. There was a lot of horrible experiences around that. So Sophia was actually my first woman investor.
Wow.
And she's absolutely fantastic. I'm a huge fan of her. So she's pretty visionary.
So for all the business owners out here, you took a leap of faith. You took your friend out who had some money to play with. You took him out. You said, "Let me get you drunk."
Yes. Oh my God.
Let me take you out and pitch myself.
Yeah.
And so, what type of tenacity, what type of like bravery does that take when you were first stepping out there?
A lot of my first investors, they were individuals, a lot of them in the beginning. And this was after I'd been running the company for a year and a half. So, I was putting numbers on the board that were a lot bigger than some male counterparts. They were better at fundraising. And so I would see them raise venture dollars and I would tell myself the story, well, when we do go out, our numbers are going to be bigger, so we're going to get better terms. Yeah. And that's not a thing, by the way. That's venture investing is not about the best company. There's a totally different thing going on. But I ended up raising money from people that I knew, and after every pitch, they would say, "I don't know anything about the beauty industry, and it sounds interesting, but I know that you're going to make something of this because you're nuts, and so I'll invest in you."
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, it was a lot of people investing in me, and then the company gets big, and you put some numbers on the board, and then it becomes more about the quality of the business.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you got to be crazy.
You got to be crazy.
What an amazing interview. By far, this is one of my best conversations yet. Thank you, Melanie, for joining me for this one. But guess what? I need you to like, I need you to comment, I need you to share, but most of all, subscribe to The Vault Village because we got more empowering conversations on the way. Get ready for episode 2.